The blue tilapia was introduced to Florida in 1957 for the purpose of aquatic plant and fish control, a mistake that has turned out to be deadly for native species. Hi, I'm Abby,
And I'm Bailey.
and today we are going to be discussing the blue tilapia.
The blue tilapia is a freshwater brackish fish species that is a member of the Cichlidae family.
This fish can be found all over the world, including Africa, the Middle East, and the southern United States.
The blue tilapia is olive to bluish gray dorsally, yellow to olive to silver laterally, and white ventrally in coloration. Its caudal fin has many irregular bands that possesses a pink to red coloration on the distal margin of its caudal fin, which varies by sex and spawning season.
One defining difference between the males and females is their size difference, in which the females tend to be significantly smaller than the males. In addition, the males possess an intense vermilion edge to their dorsal fin and a bright metallic blue on their heads, whereas the females lack these defining features. They possess a range from 18 to 26 gill rakers, 3 anal spines, and 14 to 17 dorsal spines. To add, the blue tilapia ranges in size from 120 to 200 millimeters in length, and they can reach weights of up to 5 to 6 pounds.
The blue tilapia is native to regions in Africa and the Middle East. This fish species exhibits aggressive behavior in which it can compete with other native species for resources and spawning areas. In high densities, the blue tilapia can negatively impact a fish community structure even within its native region.
The blue tilapia has been introduced to other parts of Africa, the Middle East, East Asia, the Caribbean, Central America, South America, and some Pacific islands. This fish species was introduced as an important aquaculture species. However, due to its aggressive behavior, it can dominate any given region. The blue tilapia has and can become the dominant fish species within its introduced area. This can cause major issues in vegetation, structure, and fish management. Within the Florida region, the blue tilapia species was introduced on 3 occasions, the first in 1957 from Israel, the second in 1957 from Africa, and the third in 1985 from Israel. They were introduced mainly into ponds, lakes, rivers, and reservoirs through stocking, aquaculture, and biological control. The purpose of their introduction into Florida waters mainly consisted of aquatic plant and fish control. However, due to their invasive behavior, the blue tilapia have caused many detrimental effects on both the ecological functions as well as the imbalance and colonization within Florida's ecosystem. As mentioned previously, this species was introduced for the purpose of stocking freshwater bodies for sport fishing and plant control. It is speculated that power companies are responsible for this after the heated ponds used at nuclear plants became too warm for native fishes. These tilapia were stocked in their place with the intention of managing aquatic plants. Apparently, measures were taken to keep the fish from escaping into other waterways, but this failed in multiple instances. The blue tilapia can be classified as an omnivore, where its diet consists of both plant and animal matter, or a detritivore, when the diet consists of mostly dead and decomposing organic matter, depending on the age and environmental condition. This species is typically considered a generalist due to their wide range in diet. However, their diet mostly consists of phytoplankton. The adults are more herbivorous and tend to feed on plant matter such as algae and phytoplankton, whereas the juveniles tend to feed on zooplankton and small arthropods. The blue tilapia obtains its food by secreting a mucus that is able to trap phytoplankton and other wanted materials for consumption. The plant and animal matter is then ground down by 2 pharyngeal plates of fine teeth. Once ground down and trapped by this mucus, it is then swallowed, allowing for the fish to ingest the needed nutrients. The blue tilapia possesses long gill rakers as well as a long intestinal tract that allows for the digestion and assimilation of plant matter to occur. In addition, the blue tilapia has a stomach pH of below 2, which allows for the materials to break down over an extensive period of time.
The blue tilapia is considered to be an ovophilic species in which the male excavates a shallow pit within a certain territory for the female to lay their eggs. After a court ritual occurs, a female will lay her eggs within the nest and wait for the male to fertilize her eggs. Once the eggs are fertilized externally, the female holds and incubates the eggs within the buccal cavity in her mouth. This is known as mouth brooding. After spawning is complete, the female then moves to a deeper water environment where the male continues to mate with other females. Even after the eggs hatch, the female will continue to hold the fry within her mouth as a form of parental care until the fry are big enough to feed on their own. In terms of spawning season, the blue tilapia tends to reproduce every 4 weeks to 4 months. They are able to reproduce multiple times within their lifetimes, which is known as being iteroparous. In addition, their mating system consists of a polyandrous relationship in which multiple females meet with multiple males and vice versa.
When observing the life stages of the blue tilapia, it consists of 6 main stages. These stages include egg, yolk sac, larva, weaning larva, fry, juvenile, and adult. The number of eggs ranges from around 200 to 1,000 eggs per spawn, and their sizes vary from 2 to 4 millimeters in diameter. It typically takes 2 to 4 days for the eggs to hatch and become larvae. Even in the larval stages, the fry remains within the female's mouth until they reach a juvenile size. The larvae receive their nutrients via their mother, yolk sac, and by regular feedings. Once they reach a larger size, these species stray away from their mother and are able to live on their own.
As for breeding conditions, they require a minimum temperature of around 20 degrees Celsius in order to reproduce. Their spawning can occur in both freshwater and brackish water conditions, and they do not possess any special habitat requirements for reproduction. The location in which blue tilapia spawn is pretty consistent. The spawning location tends to be shallow in nature, surrounded by high levels of coverage. However, in a new introduced region, they are able to adapt and use all available habitats to breed.
This fish species tend to be located mostly in freshwater conditions, but can also be found in brackish estuaries. The blue tilapia have a greater resistance when it comes to cooler temperatures, salinities, and other environmental conditions. In addition, the larva to juvenile stages are less tolerant to the changing conditions compared to the adults. This brings a rise in parental care within the blue tilapia as mentioned previously. Parental care, territorial guarding, mouth brooding, and other things all lead to a greater survival rate among offspring, which allows for their populations to stay constant. The age of the blue tilapia ranges from 3 to 5 years, and they tend to reach sexual maturity around 5 to 6 months. In addition, the sexual maturity of this fish species also tends to be dependent on size, age, and environmental conditions. When observing size, the fry tends to be around 0.1 to 0.2 grams, the juveniles tend to be around 10 to 20 grams, and the adults tend to be around 300 to 1,000 grams.
The blue tilapia have been considered an invasive species in the United States since the 1960s. It was first introduced in Florida in 1957 as an experiment for research for both private and state companies. Their goals with the release of this species include aquatic plant control, sport fishing, food resources, etc. However, the release of the species has caused many problems within the native ecosystem of Florida. The blue tilapia outcompete native species for food, habitat, spawning grounds, and other necessities and their resources used for survival. The imbalance of the blue tilapia can negatively impact the community structure of an ecosystem, leading to decreased numbers of native fish species within a given area. This species is known for taking over warm water springs in the winter months, destroying nests of other fish species,
and territorially guarding other areas of water. Different methods of control and prevention are used in order to decrease the blue tilapia populations. These methods include physical and biological control. Physical control involves the augmentation of fishing in order to reduce the population. Private fishing of this species is encouraged in the United States, and in most states it is illegal to release the fish once caught. Biological control involves the possible release of predatory fish species that prey on blue tilapia. The increase in stocking of these predatory fish species would decrease the number of blue tilapia within a given area, but more information is necessary before these measures are taken. Due to the extremely large population of these invasive fish, it may be many years before they are eradicated.
We decided to catch one of these monsters for ourselves. We decided to go fishing in Lake Hollingsworth in Lakeland, Florida.
And we weren't the only ones looking for these fish. Fishing with a cast net turned out to be harder than we thought.
But we did end up catching a sailfin molly.
Because Lake Hollingsworth has recently been drained, catching tilapia was not as easy as we thought it would be.
ultimately unsuccessful, but this doesn't mean we aren't going to try tomorrow.
Coincidentally, in lab that day, we dissected one of these fish ourselves. Here is the face of evil.
I'm frozen. The night before, Abby and I went to Walmart to purchase cheap fishing poles, and this is what we have. We had high hopes for using a hook and line system compared to the cast net that we originally used yesterday.
We even located the tilapia nests. Unfortunately, the shallow water made it difficult to catch them. And remember, tilapia are invasive, so the catch and release is illegal.
We caught one. Wow, there it is. That we caught. We caught both of them actually. Ooh. Alright. Job well done. Let's catch. Thank you.